for the past We've been having it for the past 7 weeks now, and today we're going to be treating the 8th category of the OWASP top 10, which says software and data integrity failures. So I'm just going to share my screen now. Give me a second. I'll share my entire screen because we'll definitely be navigating from here to there, because we have a lot to do today. I hope we all have our belts fastened. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay, great. So let me just pull up my slide. How do they move this? Okay, let me just take this away. Stopping. So I'll present my screen now. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking about the 8th risk that the OWASP Foundation has been so kind enough to let us know about. So I'm guessing we should know about OWASP by now. I mean, this is the 8th already. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So can somebody please unmute their mic or maybe type in the chat room and tell me the full meaning of OWASP? Somebody please, I'll be in the chat room checking. Or you can please unmute your mic. I want to hear your beautiful voices. Somebody, the full meaning of OWASP. This particular term here, OWASP.
Open Web Application Security Project.
Sorry, Temi, you were saying something.
Yeah, Open Web Application Security Project.
Are you actually sure it's open web? Okay, but I mean that's not why we're here. So yeah, OWASP. So there is a foundation that has been so kind enough. It's open source and it's very free, open source. So kind enough to come together to let us know about web application vulnerabilities. And they've categorized 10 to be the top risks that face web applications these days. And we've talked about 7, and now we're on the 8th one, which says software and data integrity failure. So let's move on. Let's get right into it. So let me go on. So let's get familiar with the term integrity, because this is the foundation of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm guessing we all know about the CIA triad, because that's like the foundation of everything security. When we're talking cybersecurity, if we don't talk about CIA, then we've not even started at all. So yeah, the CIA triad, it's the confidentiality, the integrity, and then the availability. And in today's class, we're mainly talking about the integrity. Now, what does integrity even mean? So, I mean, we could talk about the fact that, oh, somebody has integrity, does this, does not do this. It's like, you get. So, but integrity in the case of software and data and information now, it says that integrity indicates that information is accurate and complete. Means that there is no modification, especially unauthorized modification. Let's pay attention to unauthorized modification. There is no unauthorized modification to information. That means as it is when it was created is as it is when you get it. So we've talked about instant messaging, right? I mean, how sure are we now that the message we are getting from maybe somebody sent you a text, the message you're getting is the exact thing they sent? That's where integrity comes in. You know that your WhatsApp now, they say it's end-to-end encrypted, right? So we are actually sure, we actually trust them, and we believe that, oh, okay, it's end-to-end encrypted. So if there is a failure in integrity, it means that a person A could send a message, and then the message could be modified while on transit to the person B, and then the person B will receive a different message. You know what risk can be associated with that? You know what could happen? I mean, I could maybe I want to collect money from somebody, I want to collect urgent 2K, and then I'm sending my account details now to, let's say I'm sending my account details to Tammy, and then Tammy is getting another account details and he sends the money there. I mean, he just sends it there, and then another person receives the money. I don't get it, and that's the gain for the other person and a loss on both our sides. So when we say a failure in integrity happens, is a failure in integrity of anything actually could mean an unauthorized alteration could be or has already been made. So we're not just talking about the fact that the information is already altered, it has already been modified. We're talking about the fact that it could also be modified. Okay, so let's go on. So today we're actually going to be talking about software and data. We're not just talking about any kind of information. We're talking about software and data. So, and this is going to be a very fun class for anybody that is a developer, a programmer, but it also applies to users as well. We that use those applications, it applies to us. Please confirm that you're following me. Please unmute your mic and tell me something. I don't want to be talking to myself. Hello.
Yes, we are following.
Okay, thank you. So real quick, before we go on, I would love us to.
Are you hearing me?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Thank you. So before we go on, I know some of us don't have Bob suits yet, right? If you have Bob suit, please can you indicate? Can you let me know? Because we're not just going to be talking today. Too much talk wouldn't do the job for us. We're going to also be seeing how these things work. We're going to actually be attacking, think like attackers and act like attackers, because that's why we're here in cybersecurity. That's the whole idea of cybersecurity. So if you have Bob suits, please can you let me know? Or I'll just drop let me I have the link here, so I'll just copy it. So we can install it down so we don't have to waste time when we get to that part. So this is the link to install Bob Suite. Yeah, it's going to take you there. You're going to install it, and then when we get there, we're going to configure it together. Okay, so real quick, let's do that. But also be listening to me because this topic is a very, very interesting. So what does OWASP say about this software and data integrity failures? So let's go to their websites. So I wouldn't just be talking from the top of my head and everything. So let's go to their websites. Okay. Yeah, this is it. So let me increase this. So this is the OWASP website, okay? This is it here. They talked about 10 web application security risks. We've talked about 1 to 7, and now we're on the 8th one. You see, it was changed during 2021. It was changed to a new one. It was formerly, the 8th one was formerly insecure deserialization. This is a picture. I can't highlight it. It was formerly insecure deserialization, and we're definitely going to be talking about that in this class. They put it inside here, software and data integrity failures. So it's they're intertwined. So let's go to what they have to say about software and data integrity failures. So we can see here why it is even mapped as the 8th category. We can see, let's scroll here, and then we see total CVEs. What CVEs mean is common vulnerabilities enumerations, right? I guess so, yeah. So what it means is that for each vulnerability that has been identified wherever, they're giving a number. So the CVE of maybe, let's say, SQL injection could be one kind of number like this, and so they are like each of them have their own number. So this thing now, total CVEs that is tied to this software and data integrity failure is 1,152. So you see how serious this is. There are like 1,152 vulnerabilities that could come with this kind of failures in your applications. You can see how wide that is, and we see total occurrences as of 2021. We're not talking 2025, I believe OWASP is planning to bring in a new version of this top 10 thing. So as of 2021, we are seeing 47,972, and every single day this thing increases. I'm telling you. So let's see the overview. So it says a new category of 2021 focuses on making assumptions related to software updates. So we're not just even talking about the developer side. We that we are installing software updates, we that we have apps, applications on our devices, on our phones, on our laptops, and then we need to update. And we're installing updates from just anywhere. We are bringing in issues for ourselves. You remember what I said? Integrity has to do with the fact that information has not been altered. Now, information has been altered, but we are open to so many risks. And we don't know if we are installing updates from untrusted sources. Like, we don't know the source, we don't know what has happened, we don't know who has modified what. So we're just installing it into our computers, installing it into our systems, installing it into our applications. We are causing a lot of issues. It also has to do with critical data, has to do with the CI/CD pipelines. We're going to talk about this. This CI/CD pipelines, it means continuous integration, continuous deployment, and that. So yeah. What did they describe it as? They said the software and data integrity failures relate to code and infrastructure. Like I mentioned, it relates to code and infrastructure in the applications we make use of. We developers, we programmers, we're trying to develop an application, trying to develop a software, and then we are integrating code and infrastructure into our, our application and all of that. That does not protect against integrity violations, that anybody can just come and change anything and then you just install it like that. And attackers, they are wild these days. Like, they're not even smiling. They're doing anything they have to do to make money, to get what they want. So an example of this is where an application relies upon plugins. So I'm guessing we know about plugins, we know about libraries or modules. Let's say those people that use WordPress to do their websites now, and they're installing plugins into their system, into the application, and then they're just installing it from somewhere that they don't even know where it's from. They can't trust source, the repositories, like it's mentioned here. It's an insecure CI/CD pipeline. Now let's talk about what CI/CD actually is. So CI/CD, like I said, is continuous integration, continuous delivery. So it's an automated process. Please, are you still following me? I don't want to be talking to myself. Hello, somebody? Anybody, please? Let me
Yes,
see.
we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Are you following me? Please, you can draw me back if maybe you don't get what I said or something. You could definitely draw me back. So when we say CI/CD pipelines here, it's an automated process that helps developers build. Let me highlight this. Oh, CI/CD pipelines. So it's an automated process that helps developers to build, test, and release their software quickly. So they don't have to do anything. Like, all they just have to do is write their code, and then they push it to a repository like GitHub, and then the tool takes over. The automated tool just takes over. It does the testing, it does the deployment for them. So they don't have to do anything. Now imagine that pipeline is not secure, and it's just automated. It's not secure. It doesn't do code review. Somebody can just come now and just add any code they want, add any scripts they want, and it will do whatever. It will do whatever it wants them to do, because this thing is automated. It just does what it just deploys. It's like garbage in, garbage out. So say you the CI/CD pipeline now, it doesn't do code review, like to check the code for malicious code. It doesn't check, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't prevent unauthorized access. Like, anybody, access control is not in place. Anybody can just access it. Anybody can write, anybody can, who are not just giving read access, they're able to write, they're able to deploy, they're able to do anything. They don't deploy per se, the pipeline is in the deployment. So anybody can write. So that is an issue. These are the issues. So let's go on. Let's go back to our slide. So when we say integrity now in this the context of software and data integrity, we're talking two ways. We're talking about the protection of code and infrastructure from unauthorized changes. The protection, that means we are putting controls in place that nobody could change this thing that we've done. Nobody could manipulate, nobody could unauthorизedly modify anything. And then we're also talking about trusting third-party code, because I mean nowadays applications, developers don't just write the code from start to finish. They have to, you know, integrate plugins. They have to even integrate APIs, like all these applications that you add to your application so you can get the features of that application. So it's a third-party thing. We are integrating third-party code, third-party files, third-party things, and then we are just trusting. So where a failure will come in now is if there's a failure to protect, that means you don't protect from manipulation, and then you blindly trust. You just blindly trust without verifying. So we see here that integration is equal to protection plus verification. It's not just the protection, it's not just verification, it's both of them together. So now we see examples in the untrusted software sources, like developers installing libraries or dependencies from unknown or unverified sources, like I have mentioned earlier, and then insecure CI/CD pipelines, like I have mentioned, the continuous integration and preparation pipelines are not protected against modification, against unauthorized access and modification. And then we're talking use of outdated components. You're relying, see now, it said apps relying on old libraries that have already been marked with vulnerabilities that are known, like I don't know if we were in the sixth, I think, yeah, the sixth class of this OWASP, my colleague talked about vulnerable and outdated components. You can go back to that. You can go back to the video. I believe it's on YouTube. You can go back to it and watch about the use of outdated components. Just using components that have already been marked, or they've already been marked that they are not supposed to be used. They are old, or they are like updated version, and then you're still using them. These are the problems, and you just get what you should get, actually. So let's go on. Now, like I mentioned, serialization and deserialization. So it's one of, like I said, it's one of the, let me go back to that place where I saw. So it was taken from, that was the 8th one in 2017, insecure deserialization. So it was merged into this new one, software and data integrity failure. So it's still a problem within the software and data integrity failures, and we are going to be talking about that today. So we can see a scenario here that OWASP has made already. So let's go back to our slide and see what we have there. So what do we mean by serialization and deserialization? And guess what? I have good news for you guys. We are actually going to be performing insecure deserialization, like on our own by ourselves. We are going to be doing this. We are going to be attacking. Don't worry, we'll go on. I hope we've installed our Bob suite already. So let's get to what serialization means. So let me cite example. Say myself, I want to send a birthday cake to somebody, my friend who is in another country. My friend who is in another country. You know, I cannot just send the cake like that. Like I'll just go to, let's say I'm using Airpiece and I'll just give them the cake. Oh, take it to my friend. The cake like that, to like the cake with everything like that. I mean, it's going to get spoiled, it's going to fall, damage is going to be done to it. So then I package it in a box for smooth transfer. That is what we call serialization, packaging something. In this case, packaging information, packaging files, packaging whatever, packaging it into like transferable formats. Yeah. And then my friend receives the package. Yeah, he receives it in the box. And then he opens the box to be able to use its content, because he has to open the box take out the content before you'll be able to use it. And him opening the box and using the content is called serialization. Okay, I hope you're getting that. Please let me know. Drop an emoji, something. I don't even know how I can say the emoji, but just drop it or say something in the chat room. Do we get that illustration? Tammy, thank you. Any other person so we can move on? Any other person? Do we get the illustration I just cited? Do you want me to replay on that? Yeah, I got the illustration. Thank you, Eramosele. Okay, so let's move on. So now, in the context of software and application data, let's bring this serialization and deserialization into this context now. So serialization is turning an object. An object is what applications use. It's like data or an entire session into a format that can be easily stored or transmitted. So it's not just about the transmitting now, it's about the storage, because definitely you can't just keep the cake on the ground or just anyhow, even if you're just keeping it, even if you're not just sending it, you're keeping it, you have to keep it safe. You have to keep it inside somewhere. So, rats will not come and eat it or something. So serialization is turning an object into a format that can be easily stored. So we can see example like, I'm sure we've heard of JSON, we've heard of XML or a binary stream. So these are serialized formats. These are serialized formats. And then serialization is taking that stored or transmitted data and rebuilding it, the original object in memory. You take it, you remove the object that is inside, and then you rebuild it so you can use it within your application. Just like my friend that got the cake, and then he removed it from the packaging, and then he used it, he ate it, right? That's what we call serialization and deserialization. So where's the issue now? Where is the danger in this thing? Because there's a danger lurking around here. So let's say an attacker now gets in the middle, and then he opens that box and puts a bomb inside the cake box. And then my friend opens the box, he deserializes it, and then boom, he dies. They'll say it's me, but I hope not. But an attacker got in the middle because I didn't put controls in place to make sure that nobody can modify, nobody can take out, or put in something into that packaging I made. It makes it insecure, okay? And then the person deserializing it, the person opening it, is open to whatever risk. That's what we call insecure deserialization. That's what happens when you deserialize untrusted data. You just, boom, whatever you see, you get. So this is what we call insecure deserialization. Letting someone send you a package that, when opened, runs malicious actions. So in applications now, we're going to be using the session cookies a lot. So I'm sure we know what cookies are. We know what cookies are. I mean, when you just go to a website, you start feeding you cookies like, take this cookie, you must accept it. I mean, some websites don't even allow us to choose whether we should accept or not. They just feed it to us. So let's even know what cookies are. Let me explain what cookies are. So when you visit a website and then you log in, okay, you get your session info, because the server that logged your information, you logged in, you put your username and then your password. Your server wants to remember you, so it creates this session kind of info. It's called session info, and then it stores it inside a cookie, and then it gives it to your browser to store it for him. Let's call the server him. It gives it to your browser to store it for him, and then wherever your server needs it, like maybe you're trying to perform any action, and the server is trying to, it's trying to be sure that it's still you perform the action. It should keep requesting for that cookie, and then your browser will be sending it back and forth. Like it will be sent back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth between the browser and the server. So what happens now is that your app saves info. Let's use applications now. Your app saves info about you, your session or your profile. Say you're a user, you have user rights, your username and everything. It packages it. It's called serialization. So we're going to see this. We're going to see this in the the illustration we're going to be running. It packages it, it serializes it, and then every time you click anything, your browser sends it back. And your app trusts it. Your app trusts your browser. And then it just unpacks it. Just takes, when your browser sends it back to him, it just unpacks it, it serializes it, takes the info, and then uses it. So what if an attacker changes the data before sending it back? Which is what we're going to do. We're going to get in the middle. We're going to act like a man in the middle, and we're going to modify a session cookie, and we're going to send it to the server of the site we're going to be hacking. I say hacking, it's vulnerable already, but we're going to be hacking it, and we're going to be seeing how this works. Then boom, the app opens and runs it blindly, thinking it is safe. So these are the risks attached to insecure deserialization. An attacker could do some remote code execution. Like, this is the most dangerous one. I'm sure have we all seen this? Let me type it here. So we'll see it. Let me just type it here. rm rf, okay, rf slash this command. Has anybody seen it? Has anybody seen this command before? Hello? rm dash rf slash. Has anybody seen this command before? Please unmute your mic. Richard said no. Anybody else? No. Okay, so I'll just explain. So the years ago when I was in ALX, a number of us should know ALX. So I was in the software engineering track, and I was just learning Linux for the first time. I mean, they taught it in school, but I don't really understand what they were teaching in school. But I was there, I was in ALX, and I was like trying to grasp the whole concept of using the Linux operating system. And then during one of the sessions, the lady that was anchoring the session, she was, teaching us some commands. She was running some commands. She was doing this and that, creating folders, doing all those copying files, all those things on Linux. And then I was happy, I was understanding. And then at the end of the day, she used this command, rm dash rf slash. And I was like, what does this command do? I'm very curious. I was very curious. And I mean, I should have just gone to ChatGPT, right, to ask, what does this command do? No, that's not what I did. I went to, so we're each assigned sandboxes in ALX, in this track, we're each assigned sandboxes where we could run our Linux and do whatever I want to do our tasks, our assignments, and everything. So I had done week 1, week 2, I think to week 4 assignments. So everything was there. Anytime we need it, we just, it's an operating system, just like our Windows here. So everything is stored in just like I have so many files here. So I had so many files there already. And I just went to the command prompt area, and I just put this command. And I was like, okay, what has this thing done? And then the next time I wanted to access something, I did not see anything. I did not see one single thing on that sandbox, one single thing, like nothing. I was really, really scared. I was like, what's happening? Have they kicked me out of this? What did I do wrong? I went over to the support, and I was like, I did something. I don't know what I did. I did something, and then I can't find anything. Do you know what this command does? It removes your roots. This slash is for the roots. So your roots, your root system, the whole thing, the under, like the basic, it removes it recursively without even asking you, are you sure you want to remove? It removes it just forcefully. Thank you, Adeshola. Forcefully removes by force, like it just removes it, just deletes it without even asking you, are you sure you want to delete it? Yes or no. It didn't ask me that. It just removed it immediately. Now imagine an attacker getting in the middle of this your serialized data. Now he gets access to it, and then you just put this thing, and then this deserialization now just during the deserialization, because deserialization it unpacks and just runs it just like that without checking, just deserializes and runs it. Now imagine the previous RMRF. It's gone. So that's like the most dangerous one. And that's just, there are so many other commands, there are so many other code that could be run within that an attacker could decide to run. And then there's also privilege escalation. What we are going to be doing today would be on privilege escalation. We're going to be escalating our privilege. And then there's data tampering. An attacker could get access to those deserialized data and then tamper with the data, change anything he wants to change. And then we talk about authentication bypass. Attacker could get hold of that. Maybe let's say it's a session cookie now. We could take it, just like a video I watched yesterday. The person was simulating an attack and he just took someone's session cookie and he just used it in his own application. He just used it like, and he was able to gain access to the person's Facebook account. So the person logged into their Facebook account. When you know where you log in, you get your session cookie. So that person, the attacker, stole the session cookie and then used it. And then, you bypass authentication like that. And then there's DOS. An attacker could send very large recursive serialized objects, which could cause the server to malfunction. There could be like unavailability. So we see here that this now is not even speaking to the other parts availability. There will be no availability of your application anymore. It's not be available to people. So now we're going to go to our Bob suits. If you have installed it, please let me know, because we are going to do this together. At least 2 people must do this with me. Must. And also, no, we're not living here today, so I need to see people that have installed Bob suits. So let me just open mine. I have mine here already. So this is the Bob suits. Please, who has installed their Bob suit? Can you let me know? Unmute your mic, please. I'm tired of hearing just my voice. I don't know who gets tired of hearing just their voices, but I definitely am tired of hearing just my voice. Hello.
Okay, I've installed OWASP before, but my laptop is really slow, so I don't want to like delay the class.
Oh, you've installed Bob suits
OWASP
before.
before, yeah.
Please, do you have any other person?
Yes, I've installed it before and I still have it.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to open it. So let me just keep it on this side because the application we're going to be testing is going to be on the other side. So let me just put that up there. So I'm coming. Please give me a second. Oh, I'm fidgeting. So we're talking insecure deserialization, right? So this is insecure deserialization. It's right here in Porttrigger. I think I've talked about Porttrigger to us. Let me drop the link. So we're going to be doing the first lab. So you could go here and read up. It's high level. It could be high level. It could be confusing, but you just take it little by little and install before today. Yes, okay, Richard. So this is where I need you to go to click on that link in the chat room, the Porttrigger, and this is where it's going to take you to. This is what we're going to be doing. I need to move this away. So before we even, let me put my Bob suit on this side. So this is Bob suit here for some of us that don't know about Bob suit. So it is what we'll be using to test the application today. So Bob Suits does a lot of things. It intercepts traffic, so you could modify whatever you want to modify on this particular platform. And we're using the community edition. It's not paid. We're using the community edition, which we'll just use for testing. The enterprise edition, the professional edition could give us the right and access to, see all the vulnerabilities that is going wrong with our website, but we don't have access to that. We only have access to the community edition, which we're going to be using to test. So we're going to be using the proxy. I hope you cannot see my screen. Please, if you have the Bob Sheet installed already, you can just open it now. Open it, you should see your dashboard, and then you just go to proxy. Should open it, please. And then one more thing I want to do, I did this the last time I was with you, but I'm just going to do it again for the sake of those that were not with us. So in order for us to use the proxy here, let's first go to the proxy settings here on Bob Suite. So we see how we can, because if you don't configure your browser, the Bob will not be able to listen on the proxy. So we have to configure our browser to that. And for that, we have to get an extension called the Foxy proxy. So I have it here already. In case you don't have it, you can just go here, go to extensions. I hope we are all following. Go to manage extensions. So I'm using Brave browser. So whatever browser you're using, be it Google Chrome, you would see this option as well. So I have a Foxy proxy here. It's a proxy management tool here. So if you don't have it, you just go to the web store and then you search for it, Foxy proxy. So this is it here. You would see the option to add to browser. Please, is anybody doing that? Is anybody doing that,
I'm
please?
lost. Sorry, please, can you take that again?
Okay, so what I said is we want to make use of the proxy in Bob Suits. We want to be able to intercept traffic, and with that, we would need the proxy, this proxy here. We have the target, we have proxy, we have intruder, we have repeater, we have collaborator, but we're going to be using proxy for today. Okay, we're also going to be using repeater though, but the proxy, and in order for us to use a proxy, we have to have, we have proxy on Windows already, but for smoother experience, because if you want to be soft like me, I love smooth experience, so I would make use of the Foxy proxy. And then this, to get the Foxy proxy, is an extension on your browser. To get the Foxy proxy, you go to just click on this hamburger icon, I don't know, this 3- icon here, and then you see the extensions. Then you could go to manage extensions, and then you would see, you don't have it, of course, I have mine here. You'd see the web store where you could get the extension. Then you search Foxy proxy. Do you get that now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So please, who is that, please? Who am I speaking with?
Okay, Adeshola.
Adeshola. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Is there any other
Yeah.
person, or is it only Adeshola that is in this class? I'm seeing a number of people. So I don't want this. If Transformation College just wanted us to do a broadcast, like a news broadcast where we wouldn't be getting feedback, we could do that, but this is a live session, so we have to interact. So any other person, please?
Sorry, I'm also working on it, but my laptop is really slow.
Oh, okay. You could go back to the video when it's uploaded, and so let's just go on. Let's go on. So when you Adeshola, please, have you added it to your browser already?
I was just watching the you do it because I was trying to open my workstation. So I was just trying to do all that while you were, but I'm doing it right now. I'm just
All right, please, if you need any help, just let me know.
okay. No, I will.
So
Thank you.
once it's installed, oh, I'm just going to keep going. Once it's installed, you would see it here in your extensions here. Then you just click on it. I already have it configured, but for the sake of this class, I'm going to reconfigure. So I'll go to the options, then to the proxies, because it's the proxy we are after. Let me show you what I have here. So according to Burp, this is the interface we are going to be working with, the 127.0.0.1, which is the host name. So this is going to be empty, by the way. This is going to be empty. So I named this Burp, so I know that it's for Burp Suite. So the type has already been set. You don't need to do that. The country, you don't need to do that. The city, we don't need to do that. Then the host name, we need to. So we've been given 127.0.0.1, and then the port, we're working on the port 8080, which is here, 8080. So which was what I put there, and then that is it. Just save it. And it's there already, so we can leave here. Ooh, I don't like this thing. Okay, so let's just leave that. So we can save it and then we leave here. So we already have the Bob. We already have it. So we click on it. We are seeing Bob. So I created another one. Oh, I don't know why.
Please, could
But
you go back to the
okay.
proxy side again?
Sorry, please. What did you say?
Please, could you go back to the proxy side again? I'm trying to configure my own too.
Okay. So just so we don't have to, put it in our head and cram it. Oh, let me disable it back. So we go to the options, then to the proxies. Then this is the configuration information. It's right here when you go to in your Bob suite now. They're the ones providing this information for us. You just go to your proxy settings, and then from proxy, then we just go to proxy settings, and then we see what we need to configure. So we just fill it in. The host name would be the 127.0.0.1 is the IP address. And then on a port 8080, which is it's already right here. So are you fine now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So that's it for that one. Now, so uh so let me talk about something else before we go on with this. So how can we even prevent this how can we prevent this risk from happening? The number one thing which I'm going to highlight right now is the digital signatures, the use of digital signatures here. So we cannot just trust any information we see and just add it to our software. We cannot just trust any information we see and just add it to our software. Informations like files and sessions we see, they should have digital signatures. So when we say digital signatures, we are saying when we say digital signatures, it's like a way to prove who sends the message, and then that the message has not been changed. So I'll show you a file that I downloaded some days ago. So I hope you can see my screen. So I downloaded this. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So I downloaded this node JS. It's a Windows installer package. It's a Windows installer package. So we cannot just trust this thing. And even if I downloaded it from a trusted source, I mean that's enough though. But we should also check for the digital signature, because the digital signature is something that once the person who created this package right now, the person who created this package, the person created the digital signature, and we know that the information has not been modified because the signature is still there. Because if the information, if the file has been modified like on transit, the digital signature will break. It's just like a seal. Say you were given your report card in primary school and then it's closed, it's sealed. For somebody to be able to modify it, they have to break the seal. The seal is going to break, and then everybody will know that somebody did something to this thing. You changed, maybe you got an F and then you opened it because you wanted to please your mom and dad, and then you opened it and changed the stuff. You changed it to A. I mean, they're going to know because the seal will be broken. So that's how its digital signature is too. It's going to be there. So if anybody modifies it, it's going to break. So it's like a hash. I'm sure if let me not assume. Let me not assume. So a hash is another control for to put in place when you're talking integrity. So your file, you hash it and then you create a hash. It's like a kind of string. And then we know that if anybody modifies that file that has that hash, the hash is going to change entirely. So let me show you the digital signature for this file. You just right click and then you go down to properties. And then I see digital signature here. Digital signature. So this is the signature. We see the name of the signer. We see that it was signed with the algorithm SAH256. That's the hash function. So let's look at the details. I need to move this thing. Oh, let's just leave it. So we see the details, and then we're able to view the certificate. So, which is one thing we are going to do now for this Bob suite, because our browser does not trust Bob suite automatically. It does not trust Bob suite to, when we make use of the proxy, it does not trust Bob suite to intercept our traffic. So the browser has to have this certificate configured within it. So we're going to do that. So I just wanted to show you now. So this is the certificate here. We can see the details. We can see the version 3, serial number, signature algorithm, signature hash algorithm. We can see the issuer. It was issued by DigiCert. We can see various things within the certificate. So we know that. And then we see here now that we see here the certificate is okay. So I know I can trust this thing and I can install it. So when you download some things like this that you want to use within your download application, you download software updates, you have to check for the digital signature. Once you're installing it though, your computer does that for you, your server does that for you, but you also have to be extra sure. So you have to check it. So let's go back to what we're talking about. Let me just take all of this away. So let's go back to our Bob suite now. Let me just, don't confuse me. Okay, so let's go to our Bob suite. So still in that proxy settings, after we've configured our browser with the proxy, let's see. Don't know what's wrong here. So let's see something here. Let me know why this is not pressing. Okay, probably we have it opened already. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so it's open already. So this is the proxy settings here. And then we see the certificate, because our browser cannot just, let me show you, our browser cannot just trust Bob suite without the certificate. Let me show you something. So once we have the Foxy proxy installed already, we turn on our intercept to be able to intercept traffic from here. And then we also turn on the burp here is disabled right now, so we just turn it on, and then let's see, let's refresh this page. Oh, I'm sorry, I already have the certificates. So I already have the certificates. Please confirm you're still following me. So if we're to search here for certificates, we see various certificates. It's right here in the security. We see various certificates that here, manage certificates. So we click on that and manage imported. No, let's first view all certificates. So we can see various certificates. Look at the trusted one. So we're trying to put this burp certificate here into this trusted certificate. So our browser can trust burp suite. I already have it here. So it's Portrigger CA. This is the certificate here. Look at it. Look at the algorithm here, the hash function, the hashed thing here. Look at the certificate right here. So it's right there already. So if I were to delete it, you would be surprised by the fact that once I refresh this page now, it's going to show me that the connection is not secure. So I can't. So let's do that. I mean, our time is fast spent already, but let's do something. Okay, so if we were to go to, so it's now trusted certificates. So I'll scroll down to find it. So this is it here, Portrigger CA. And then if I were to remove it, it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to remove? Let me say yes. And then remove, yes. So I've removed it now. Now my proxy is still on, right? My intercept is still on, right? Now let me refresh this page. Look at it. Your connection is not private. Attackers might be trying to steal your information from portrigger.net, for example, password, blah, blah, blah. And then the error here says certificate authority invalid. Certificate authority. Without that certificate, your browser does not trust Boxy because your browser is a secure browser. You know, it checks, it does all this check. So now what we have to do is go to the proxy settings here. I have it right here. And then we see import, export CA certificate, regenerate CA certificate. So I'll export a CA certificate because I need it. I need to put it here in my browser. So I'm going to export certificates in DER format. I'm going to export certificates in DER format. Then I'll click on next. Then I'll save it. I'll save it somewhere I can see. Let me save it on my desktop. So let me give it a name. Portrigger cert. So I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to go back to my browser now. So that same place I went to the other time to manage extensions. I'll go to the settings and then I'll search for certificates. It's right here in the security side because I mean it's for security purposes. So I'll go to the manage, and then I would go to manage imported certificates from Windows, and then I want to import that certificate into my browser. So I'm going to, so what this certificate is going to do is that it's going to make your browser trust it. Once you have the certificate in it, your browser will trust Bob Suite and be able to do work with Bob Suite. So I'll browse now to where I saved it. So I'm going to change this because look at it now. It's in, look at where my this thing is. My mouse is, the file extension is in .cer, but our certificate is in .er, like I mentioned. So we're just going to we're going to click on all files, so it won't filter anything for us. All files. Then I save it to my desktop, right? But we got set. I didn't even save it. So my certificate was successfully exported. I didn't know I didn't save it. So this is it here. And I'll open it. I'll click on next. And then it's going to ask me where I want to place the certificate. Seeing that I want my browser to trust it. So I'm going to click on browse and I'll put it in the trusted root certificate authorities. So my browser will automatically trust it, okay? So it's going to go there to my trusted root certification authorities, and then I'm going to save it there, finish. Then it's going to ask me, we're about to install this. So be sure you want to install the certificate. Yup, I do want to install the certificate. So the certificate has been installed, and now I can do work with Burp Suits. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's off the intercept here and let's do this again. Let me first turn off let me start the whole process again. Then let me give me a second. What could be wrong? Now this is where our troubleshooting skills will come into place now. Come into play rather. Because we have our certificate there already. Please confirm that you're still with me. Because we still have a lab to do. It's not going to take long though. It's going to be a very, very quick lab. So see, our Bob suit is already intercepting traffic here. So I just want to show you that error is not going to show again. So let's go back to what picture. Give me a second to confirm that the certificate was properly. So let me just close this browser and reopen it. So you know it's still trying to have it known within its memory that this has been done. Okay, now we see I refreshed a page and see I didn't get the error anymore. So now we get to what we're here for today. So let me just turn off this intercept so I can, once your Bob suit is intercepting traffic, your browser wouldn't be going. So be sure not to leave your Foxy proxy on when you're not using Bob suit. Be sure not to leave your Foxy proxy on. Always disable it after you're done using Bob suit. So we're here in insecure deserialization. So we want to perform this lab, we want to work with this lab, modifying serialized objects. Like I said, serialized objects, modifying it and sending it to the server, and the server is serializing it. So this is the lab here. So it says this lab uses serialization-based session mechanism, which is the session cookie I talked about. So it serializes the session cookie and stores it in the browser for the server, So, and it is vulnerable to privilege escalation, meaning anybody can come and, modify the cookie and then escalate privileges, which was one of the risks I told you that is tied to insecure deserialization. So I'm going to solve this lab now we are going to solve this lab rather by editing the serialized objects in the session cookie to exploit this vulnerability and gain administrative privileges. So I'm not an administrator, I'm not an admin, but I'm going to raise my rank high to be an admin, and then I can delete the user Carlos. So this is my credentials, this is my username, and this is my password. So let us access the lab. So accessing the lab, I've not signed in. So if you don't have an account with Portfolio, you should create one. So I'm just going to sign in now. Let me just input my password. So I'll log in so I can be able to access the lab. Wait a second for this to go. So this is the lab. So it's a shop. And then when a user logs in, cookie is stored and all of that. So let's turn our intercept back on so we can, I said when we log in, the server create a cookie. So we want to capture that cookie here in Bob Suite and then do whatever I want to do with it. So let's turn on the intercept. Let me be sure my burp is on. So your burp must be on. Okay, your burp must be on. So the username, winner. What was the password? Can somebody tell me what the password was? Okay, I'll just go and check. Please, I want to believe we are all following. Please, I want to believe we are following, please.
Yes, Peter in small letters.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
So once I click on login now, it's going to be captured here. Look at it. Look at the request here. It's going to be captured. So whatever request I make on my browser is going to be captured here on Burp Suite. So I'm going to click on that request. This is the request here. Let me just paste this. So this is the request. We see post login. We are sending a request. Okay, we are posting a request, the login, and then this is the blah blah blah. So now let's log in. Right now we're not logged in because this verb, you just captured our request, so we can't go anywhere. So I'll just forward this. So unless you forward a request, it will not go. Unless you forward a request, it's not going to go. So when I click on forward, I would be logged in. So we can see this other request. You can see this. You can see we've been logged in already. So we can see it here. It's now get. So this is my account ID, winner. So we can see that this is my username. And then we have the cookie here. We've been given the cookie. This is the cookie section. Look at how long it is. Can you see this? This is the cookie. This is the cookie here. So let's inspect that cookie here. Inspector will do that for us. This is inspector here. This place here. This is inspector. So if we go to the request cookies place, we can see the cookies that have been generated for us. So we see the session cookie. Let's open that up. And then we see the value of the cookie. This is the main value. And we don't understand this because it has been serialized. So this is a serialized object. This is it in URL decoding. No much difference. But then in the base 64 coding, we can see here that it's a serialized object. How can we know this is a serialized object actually? This is a PHP serialized object. And how do we know that? Because of the format it's in. So there are various formats. There are various formats for the serialization. There is the PHP format. There is the Java format. So this is the PHP serialized object. So what we are seeing here now, I don't know if let me open this up. Is it visible enough? I can't zoom into it. So this, all we are seeing here is an object. So it says that this is an object, and this is the character length for the character length user. So user is 4, and then we see the parameters, the attributes rather. We see the username, we see the character of 6, and then winner. We see that admin b equals to 0. Please, who knows what this B stands for Boolean? So when we say a Boolean function, a Boolean value is 0. Please, can somebody tell me what it means? There are not just two formats, Emperor Big. There are not just two formats. There are various formats for. In this class right now, we're going to be talking about the PHP. So there's also the Java. There are also the other formats, like various other formats for serialization. Okay. There are various serialized functions. So can someone tell me when a Boolean value is 0, can someone tell me what it means? When a Boolean function.
That means false.
Thank you very much, Adishola. So now when a Boolean function is 0, it means false. And when it's 1, it means true. So we can see here, they said admin B is 0, meaning we are not an admin. It's false that we are an admin. So we can see we are not admins here. So once I change this now to 1, I can change it though. It is editable. This is where the vulnerability lies. I can change it to 1, meaning true is true that I'm an admin. And then once I apply the changes, the value of the cookie is going to change, because automatically the cookie given to the admin is not the same cookie given to winner. So once I apply changes, it's going to change. It's going to change here in the value of the cookie. So, but just for us to be sure, we'll use the decoder. This decoder part here, it decodes anything. You could decode as base64, decode in whatever format. We could also encode here. So just for us to be on like the surety side, let's just change this back, and then let's copy this cookie here. Let's copy the cookie and then paste in the decoder. And then we say we want to decode it as base64. And then we see it here, username, winner, admin, 0. And then once I change it to 1, and I say I want to encode it back to I'm sorry, give me a second. Okay, you know what? Let's just make use of it. Once we apply the changes, the cookie is going to change, and we can use the cookie. We can change our cookie. So once I apply the changes here, the cookie is going to change, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy the cookie now, and I'm not going to do the whole thing on worksheets. I'll just go to the website here, the web application here, and then I'll right click and go to the inspect. This is the developer tool. Then I'll go back to application where I can see the cookies and I can edit it. So this is the cookie here. This is the cookie. I don't know if you can see it. You can see that it's TZ0 blah blah blah. So if I highlight it and then paste my new cookie, then I click on enter. Let me push this back. Okay, let me just go back from here. Oh, I think give me a second. So once I think the cookie didn't change. I wonder why. the cookie is supposed to change. Let me just send this to my repeater. Give me a second. Let me test something. A second. So I copy the cookie from there, and let me go back to the inspect part and then to the application where I get to see the cookie and I can change it. Oh, I should be able to. Oh, okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. My requests are just coming up here. So, my request was captured here first. I had to forward it first. So I changed the cookie in the inspect panel here, where developers the developer tool, as we all know. So in the application part, you get to see the cookie. We see various things we could change, the storage, we see the cookie, and then this is the cookie. The former cookie was here, and then I just edited it and changed the cookie. Then I clicked on enter, and then I forwarded my request, and now I can see the admin panel, which I wasn't able to gain access to before. So the admin panel is here now, so I can click on it. And then let me turn this off already. So in the admin panel, I can do whatever admins can do. So I can delete a user, and to solve the lab, I have to delete Carlos. So we've solved the lab by deleting Carlos. We were able to escalate our privilege to an admin. We were able to get admin privilege, right? And now we're able to do what admins could do whatever we want to do. Attackers could do this on vulnerable websites, and they could get whatever they want to get. Please, does anybody have any question? Does anybody have any question? If I went too fast, can you let me know?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
I didn't join from the beginning, so I don't really know much about. I just joined like 10 minutes ago, and
Okay.
we're talking about the certificates, right? So looking at the certificates, you generated your own. Websuite allowed you to generate your own certificate, right?
Okay, that wasn't
If I got it right.
that was Bob Street certificate, which
Yeah,
I done.
so Websuite generated a certificate for you.
Okay.
Right. So let's say, and that's what you're basing on to say that the browser will trust the certificate because Websuite generated the certificate for whatever application,
Okay.
right? So my question is, if a tool, an offensive tool like Websuite can generate an SSL or a TLS certificate for you for your browser to agree that this is actually a good certificate. Can't we get other tool that can also generate a certificate for a malicious application so that the browser also accepts it as a good application?
So what Bob Street does here, yeah. So by default, our browser does not trust Bob Street because it's a proxy. So it generates fake certificates. So to be able to do all the simulations we're able to do, it generates fake HTTPS certificates. So it's not even secure in the first place. That's why our browser by default did not trust it. So our browser is smart enough. It has been built, it's inbuilt with security controls here to be able to know that this is not to be trusted. These certificates, they are fake. So what we did with Bobsheet now was that we went on our own. We downloaded the certificates like on our own, and then we went to add it on our own to the list of our trusted certificates. So it trusts it. So we did that manually and made sure our browser trusts Burp Suite. Let me go to that now. So
So yeah, if you did that yourself and made your browser accept the application, that means anybody can make that browser accept an application and use it
yes,
for
and
whatever
it's up to us. It's up to us to actually be security conscious, which is what OWASP is trying to do for us, making us security conscious to know what we should check, to know what we should actually confirm before we trust anything. So that's like the whole idea.
So the websites are still vulnerable or susceptible to deception.
Sorry, what did you say? Can you come again?
I'm saying so the websites are still susceptible to deception.
This particular Portwiga website, is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm saying
Or are you saying
I'm
server?
saying that
Browser?
once I can always upload a certificate to a
Yeah,
browser, that means we can always
yes, definitely. And it's up to us to be security conscious, security minded, and do the right thing to know what is right and what is not right. So it's up to us, which is like the whole idea of cybersecurity. So is that gotten?
yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
have a second question too.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were talking about serialization and deserialization.
Yes.
And you said that when you send a packet to your friend and your friend opens it and there's a bomb in it,
Okay.
right? So just for I just want to understand. So are you sending it via Yango yourself, like, or via Okada yourself, or you are using a delivery service?
Whatever service you use, you don't know who is who. You don't know who could tamper with it. You don't know who could modify. So even if I'm using AirPods and they claim to be, secure, they claim to be trusted, you can't always trust everybody. That's why when we're little, our mothers and our fathers tell us, don't collect something from strangers because you don't know who is who. You have to verify. You have to verify.
So how then do we verify since the package is already being sent? And if
That's
it's
where I'm
modified,
coming. For the serialization, yeah, that's where I'm coming to. This is why I said don't deserialize user input at all. Don't open it. Don't open the package and run it, because once you open it, once it's deserialized, there is like a function in deserialization that just automatically unserialize everything and unpackages everything, and then you use it. It's used within your application. So that's what I'm coming to in the don't deserialize user input at all, to be able to prevent the risk that is attached to this. So if we're talking about the session cookie now, it should not even be stored on the browser at all. The server, it should kept server side. So there was too many information. There were too many information on that cookie. There was too many information. Look at the cookie. Where's the cookie again? Give me a second. Oh, I turned it off. Okay, yeah, look at it. There was too many information on the cookie. We had the username and we had the admin rights. We had the rule. So normally, like, to be secure, to be like very secure, there should only be the session ID there to just tell so the server will just save a session ID, just leave a tiny cookie. Like I said, let the browser just have a tiny cookie with just the session ID to just let you know that this is the ID of that particular session. Nothing sensitive, no further information. Just leave it that way. That's how you could be secure in this kind of situation of insecure deserialization. So do not deserialize user input at all, and don't send serialized data to users at all. So, do you have any other question? Hello?
Yeah, so can ZAP also do this?
Zap, yeah, sure, definitely. Zap does this as well. But for the purpose of this class, we've used burp suits. Zap does this.
Since we're also talking about interception of traffic,
Okay.
if you use Wireshark to also intercept the traffic, can you also use Wireshark to
To tamper with the cookie,
yes.
definitely you can. Definitely. You could try it. And maybe in the next class you could let me know. If there is a next class, you could let me know. Or I mean you could join the Telegram group. I think the organizer should have that. Maybe they have that
Would,
sent to us already.
would
Let's
would they pay me for the next class?
Would they pay you for the next class? Is that what you said?
Yes, if they want me to.
You should pay us for attending our classes. Okay, thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you too.
Thank you. So does anybody have any other question, please, before we go to what OWASP have said about us preventing this? Hello, does anybody hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, does anybody have any question, or I could just go ahead and talk about the prevention measures?
I think you can go ahead.
All right. So like I mentioned, use digital signatures to verify whether the software or data is from the expected source and has not been altered. So how this digital signature works is that once somebody creates a file and they want to add digital signature to it, they would hash the whole content. They will hash it, they'll turn it into a hash, and then they will encrypt it, okay, with their private key. And then you are giving the public key, but you don't have to see all of this. You don't have to do all of this. Your brother does it for you. So what your browser would then do is that with the public key, which it will receive with the sender of this the information, the person will send the file with the certificate and then the digital signature. Within the certificate, you find the public key, which could be used to decrypt, and then your server again or your browser or whatever would then rehash the content of the file and then check the hash. If it's the same thing, the same hash, if the hash that was rehashed is the same with the hash that was sent in digital signature is the same, then you know that no tampering has been done. Because even if a comma is changed within the file, even if a comma, the whole hash is going to change. So if it's not the same, then you know that it has been tampered with. To ensure libraries and dependencies, such as NPM, are consuming trusted repositories. This is for developers and programmers. When you're using NPM packages within your application, you should ensure that they are consuming trusted repositories. They're not just consuming anything, okay? So then we talk about review process for code. So within the CI/CD pipeline, like I mentioned earlier, where code is, developer just writes their code and then pushes it to their GitHub, and then the CI/CD pipeline takes over. So a code review should take place within there to ensure that no malicious code has gotten into it. So code review should be done. And then you will ensure that your CI/CD pipeline has proper segregation. No two people are doing, like, one person could code and that person would review, that person would do this. So there should be segregation of duties within the whole project and the whole thing, okay? So configuration should be secure, and then there should be access control. Be careful of who has access to do anything, who has access to do whatever, who has access to edit, who has access to add, and who has access to remove. Access control should be in place. And then ensure that unsigned and unencrypted serialized data is not sent to untrusted clients. So maybe you're the one now that is creating such files, such information, such data, and it's not encrypted, doesn't have digital signatures. Do not send it to untrusted clients without some form of integrity check or digital signature. So there should not even be any form of no digital signature. Digital signature should always be used to detect tampering of serialized data. And like I said, don't deserialize user input at all. Do not deserialize user input. Anything that comes from the browser or app should not just be fed straight into your application. So don't just, that's why we talk about sanitization of inputs, user inputs, browser inputs. It should be properly sanitized before it is run. And that's where cases of SQL injection comes in, because the application doesn't have proper sanitization in the back end. So whatever is fed into it from the front end, it just run in the back end, and somebody could just come now and just write a malicious script, and then it will be run over there in the back end, and everything could just crash. The whole thing could just go, everything will just go down the way it wants to go down. And now, don't send serialized data to users, meaning we're not just talking about users as humans, we're talking about browsers as well. So servers should not, this case of this server now storing the cookie in the browser, it should not even happen. Do not let, because there are modern day applications now are making use of server-side storage, where it will be stored in databases or files. So that is how it should be. Your session cookies or whatever should be stored right there on the server side. Although it's slower, but it should be stored right there on the server side. That is a more secure method of doing these things. So the browser should just have tiny cookies containing just the session ID. So what would attackers have to they wouldn't be able to do anything in that case. So that's it for how to prevent. We could also look at real world cases, but let's just drop that in the link so we could go and read up, because our time is fast spent. So I have a case of the solar wind. So let me get there was an attack in solar wind. They had similar attack in 2019. Oh, the bop is on, so we get things like this. So I'll just disable it and refresh. Solar wind hack explained. So this is a video, so let me just get this. A second. So we can just go on and read up on that. We could also go on to Portwiga and read up the other things there. The link is in the chat room to Portwiga, and you could also go on to the OWASP themselves. They've been kind enough to provide guidelines for us. So we talk about the serialization. OWASP also has a cheat sheet for us. They've also been giving us a cheat sheet for us to know how to deserialize data securely. But I mean, you could read on that. I'm dropping all the links in the chat room. You can get them. There's also a room on TryHackMe for this, so we could check it out. So that is all for me for today, so we can check it out. Do we have any questions? So we've actually sent for ourselves. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, the facilitator can take over. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Naomi. Um, I'm sure everybody had a really, really good session. Please check the chat room and endeavor to drop us a feedback on today's class. This brings us to the end of this session. I hope we all enjoy our Easter break. Thank you so much.